So we are here at the COGNI, which is Federal's event to explore the exciting world of AI. And with us is someone who has been the CTO of many of India's top firms. And today he's got his own startup, which is Neural. So can you tell us, for a common audience, what is Neural?
So Neural is basically a community that's and a platform to accelerate AI adoption across India. So what we do is we basically, host experts in AI on podcasts, in in-person sessions, and then in virtual events, so that they create content to pay it forward for those in India who are looking to accelerate with AI and apply AI in their business and in their personal lives. So that's what we do.
And how much of what you do is traditional AI and how much would be Gen AI?
So I think so. What Neural is sort of agnostic to what is traditional AI and Gen AI, right? So what we do is essentially across the board. But of course, naturally, what's happening is today we have a lot of interest and a lot of news on Gen AI, and that's pretty much takes up predominantly most of our content that we actually create. But having said that, there is a significant space for classical AI. And that still remains in many of the enterprises, the small and medium as well as the large enterprises. And people, there have been significant populations who've been using classical AI as well as who have now migrated to using Gen AI. While a lot of the people who have recently jumped onto the bandwagon are only exposed to Gen AI, classical AI has been around for 50 plus years, right? So a lot of our work right now is about sort of getting news out and getting pathways out on how somebody can actually use Gen AI, how they can actually scale with it, how they can adopt the best practices of what they can do with AI. Gen AI takes up a lot of this, I would say more than 75-80%, but the old classical AI is still very much relevant.
So could you give us an example of how AI helps? For instance, if it was like fraud detection, it's able to detect patterns like say 50,000 case files. It's able to crunch data within fractions of seconds, right? So can you give us a real world example of how AI has helped?
No, surely. I mean, there are tons of real world examples of AI. And when I say tons, depending on the country, there are so many, different ways. So for example, if you take China, China is very, very advanced in terms of applying robotics in their business lives. So they've gone a step ahead. Today, I'm sure many of us would have heard of these, this brand called Porter in India, which basically, they give you these small luggage carriers or mini luggage carriers to transport goods from one place to another. China has just recently introduced the same system, but it's an autonomous, it's an autonomous vehicle. So you book it on your app, it comes, to where you are, you load your luggage and it goes to where you want to. There's no driver in between, right? The second thing is, if you look at, like people like, enterprises in the US, a lot of them are actually deploying AI for so many solutions, be it like driverless cars, which is now Waymo. I mean, Cruise was previously a leader, but now it's all Waymo. Waymo is actually going ahead. Waymo, Uber, and many others are all applying driverless cars. Tesla is coming up with driverless fleets. They're coming up with driverless trucks. And then you actually have tremendous, exposure to real-world AI in energy. So, for example, right from discovery of minerals, discovery of oil, optimizing inventory, to then, optimizing, the revenue and revenue patterns for enterprises, especially in energy field. I think it's very, very large, in terms of the transactions that are actually monitored, and also the oil fields that are monitored, the wind energy that's actually monitored. There's so much that actually happens there that today I think people, in many enterprises in some of the advanced areas or the advanced enterprises that are applying AI, for them it's more or less a normal way of doing work. And many of us here in India still need to ramp up, and that's one of the reasons why the Neural is here. We're trying to sort of help accelerate AI adoption in small and medium businesses, in large enterprises, in a variety of ways, and we're hoping that it will all pick up.
Thank you so much. This was Ranjith here from Neural, and we want you to tune in to the Federal's program, and you can also use the hashtag TheFederal COGNI. Thank you.